I'm feeling pretty fragile right now. I don't even know if I'm going to put this on YouTube, but even after yesterday, a whole day of really sealing it up and doing what looked like a really good job, the water is still getting into the flue, which means there must be a really serious problem in the center of the chimney, but how it's getting in there, I don't know. It's obviously all problems can be solved. I've just reached that moment where I can't. I'm taking Dickie and we're abandoning camp. I'm gonna go back to Kea. Everything will be fine. I know that. What the hell? Jeez. Good morning. So I was up for a big part of last night dealing with a major flood in the house. You can see the entire floor is flooded. Luckily in the back it was slightly higher so it didn't go in. And it was all coming through the wood burning stove, through the chimney. So last night it got so bad that at about 3 in the morning, I actually got back here and covered it up. And it made a big difference, but it didn't solve the problem. The water was still coming in, it just wasn't coming in as ferociously. So I need to figure out what exactly is happening. It's very strange because it's coming through the central channel. It's not coming through here. I mean, I expect some problems because the roof is not finished. You can see a gap there, and there are gaps there. So some problems have been expected, but this one was not. There's really not much I can do. I mean, obviously I'm going to fix the chimney this week and get to the bottom of that. But all of the other small leaks that I see in the house today, there's really nothing I can do until we get all the windows in and get it all closed up. And then we'll be able to see exactly what we have left. There are a couple problems caused by missing plaster up there. Still have quite a ways to go before this house is winterproofed, from what I can see. That was quite a storm last night, but all of our storms are quite a storm now. It's a good thing that I've got such southern exposure and it's already drying out in here. It seems pretty dire, the situation in here, but it's not that bad. It's one bad leak that I need to get to the bottom of. This was a very informative storm. The places where it's leaking are where there are openings above. So I'm not at all worried about that. I'm happy to see where there are no openings. It's very tight. There is one that's unaccounted for, which is this corner. Not sure what's happening here, and that is probably has something to do with the plaster on the roof above. And also there's a small problem in this corner, which borders the other property, but these are probably issues I can solve quite easily. It is a beautiful morning after this storm. Forecast is clear until Monday. Today's Sunday. So I'm going to open this up and see what can be done. What I saw when I got up there and looked into it was a surprise, a shock, and I had a mixture of emotions, including absolute anger. The piece there that is supposed to protect the chimney had been completely sunken into cement, and there was absolutely no rim left around, despite the fact that this piece has a 15 centimeter rim, so that at least 10 centimeters of that stays above the top of the chimney. I didn't photograph this, unfortunately, or actually probably fortunately, because it was absurd. The top of the chimney there had become somewhat of a bowl, attracting all of the rain from the area. Okay, we're all cleaned up, and I have uncovered the chimney and started a big roaring fire, which I'm going to keep going all day, to dry this place out. I have the windows open in the front, and I think it'll be fine. So I'll have to be very, very vigilant about the weather until I get this permanently fixed and get it covered up every time it's about to rain. But for today, it's okay. I'm going to put some of this temporary flashing where there should be a very good flashing, and there isn't. I'm just waiting for it to get a little bit later in the day so that the roof tiles dry out completely before I put this temporary solution on. But we're all good. Today I have a fire. I think it's going to be fine. I think it'll get all dried out. And tomorrow it's going to rain, so there will be no fire. But luckily the temperatures aren't dropping below 15, 16 degrees Celsius, which is totally doable. Glass half full. I'm leaving all the furniture out until I see what happens with this next rainstorm, which is coming in about 5 or 6 hours. I'm just gonna keep the fire burning for a few more hours to try to dry it out some more. This wood frame for what's called a Santorini style couch, I bought in 1994, before my daughter was born. It's nothing really special, but I've had it for a while, and I'm going to put it back together, and it'll be one more place to sit on. This is for now. This isn't going to be in the house. Maybe it'll go up to the veranda eventually. Hey, I don't talk a lot about process, but I do want to say that I'm really committed to this channel. You can see here I'm editing last week's video in the flooded house. This week I'm editing amongst a bunch of boxes in a all but closed house on Kea. And I just hope, you somebody appreciates this. If you do, please subscribe. I really, really appreciate that. And yeah, I just kind of wanted to put a word in about that, about how this video editing thing has become a standard part of my life. I do the editing on Sundays usually, so that I can have it published on Monday. And I enjoy it, I really do, but it's quite a commitment because I usually start around 8:30 in the morning, and I'm not finished until probably 3:30. Okay, I don't know if this interests you, and I hope it didn't bore you too much, so that was a parenthesis, and back to what I was telling you about. I just took a sample of what is going to be the encasings for the windows and doors, because Vigelis is going to help me cut out a piece upstairs where we're squeezing a square door into a triangular space. I love the color. It looked a lot more yellow-green in the bright sunlight, and now that it's cloudy, it has this dark charcoaly look. It's hard to pin down. It's a strange color, but if I compare it to what is already here, you can see it's quite different. This is a very blue-green next to this. Can you see this? Well, they almost look the same in this light, but they're very, very different. And as you can see, that's how the old encasing was. And the new one, this will be the outside, will look like this, with the forest in the background. I think the green will be amazing. I think you call this boho chic. Good morning. It's a little bit earlier than I usually wake up because I heard the rain starting. I haven't actually solved the problem of the chimney yet. I've understood what it is, and today I'm going to make some major strides, I think, to find the materials I need. But for the time being, it's still going to rain inside if it rains hard like it did the other day. Strange thing is, it's out of all proportion to what's happening outside. Outside is just a light drizzle, and in here it's absolutely pouring. I have a huge black bag ready to put on the chimney, but I made the unfortunate mistake of starting a fire this morning, which I should never have done. The rain seems to be stopping outside, so I'm gonna hold off on putting the bag on the chimney, but I'm also not gonna allow this floor to get flooded again. No way. Man, am I glad that I discovered this problem before putting the floors in. That would have been a disaster. I'll get this all solved before I can do that. Well, I've got the house mostly dried out. It's warm, and it doesn't feel terribly damp, which is nice. And tomorrow, there's absolutely no rain forecast. It's going to be a sunny day. I have all the parts to repair the chimney, and I'm expecting Marcos to pass by and bring me the steel cutter. Leftovers from last night's dinner plus 2 eggs makes an amazing breakfast. Miguelis is back today, and he's helping me with finishing up the roof here. This little alcove that never got detail work. So he's gone to cut some wood in order to close up these holes. And I'm working on the end one. Offer it up and see if I'm close. Oh, that's pretty good. First try. Such a gorgeous early winter day. So what we did today was we made a rectangle shape in this bizarre formation. It's not perfect, but there was this angle, there was this angle, and then there was this angle. Anyway, it was something else. This will not show, this will be covered, this is what you're looking at. And the window frame comes right there. That works, doesn't it? That's nice. Okay, that's enough of a pattern for him to go on. This is simply a pattern I'm making, so it doesn't have to be perfect. Good morning. If you're anything like me and you're a pre-dawn riser and you like a good sunrise, then this is the house. I knew that when I was looking for a house, I needed it to have southeastern exposure because I just love a good sunrise. Every morning it's different. It's just so beautiful. Some people are into sunset. I'm into sunrise. Εντάξει.
Μια φαλτσέτα θέλω.
Okay. Falsetto έφερε καινούριο.
Το βάλα κάτω εκεί το πίσω.
Από εδώ μπροστά. I just suggested that he put the cigarette out while he's working with the gas bottle. I think I need to have a little preliminary look at this before I stick marble in front. I have a feeling this piece is key. Like, who threw down all this croissant? It's not croissant, it's foam. This is what Marcos broke off. It does look like croissant. It's not just me. We're putting tar paper down between the seam on the roof and the wall here. The leaking isn't very bad underneath this. There are just a few very light spots. So hopefully this situation will help it. Will stop it. I don't like it. It's like putting a Band-Aid on a new building. I don't like it at all. But for the time being, this is the situation. Now this, on the other hand, looks a lot better. And the most important thing is that the weak spot between here and the chimney has been repaired. Even after all that work yesterday, it's leaking. It's so weird. And it's leaking a lot again. Where is it coming from? This is so strange. It's just between downpours, and I'm just checking where the water's coming in, if it's coming in. I heard a big one out here, and I wanted to see what it was. Overall, it performed well in the front, really well. Actually, I should put that in the present tense because it's going to be raining for the next 4 days, so it's performing pretty well. There's a problem here, which is a shame that this NOC, this joint is right where the problem is. That's a really weak spot. I have to deal with that. Not a crazy amount of water is coming through, but water is coming through. Geez, now I made the connection. So behind here is where it's leaking in the other room in the corner. This is where the two houses join. So something's gone wrong here. Something's gone very wrong. So I'm going to go upstairs and have a look. Okay. First of all, what we did yesterday is already peeling off. And because it's pretty much hollow underneath here, and A very large amount of rain is coming through here, the entire roof. I think that's what's happening. It's pouring water back into the wall. So even after it stopped raining, 5 minutes later or 10 minutes later, after there wasn't any water coming out of it, suddenly there would be a surge. Something's going on up there where water is creating a reservoir. It just started. It just started flowing even stronger. It's not raining outside. It hasn't rained for 15 minutes. Okay, the sun has come out somewhat, and I'm feeling better. I really had a breakdown this morning, but I am leaving because it's just too much. I won't have heat or a means of cooking here. So the plan is this. There are two major problems, and I think probably a lot of this wall is going to have to be excavated. And the other thing that's going to definitely have to be excavated from above is the wall that's above this. We're not going to rebuild it from underneath. We're going to do it right, which is pretty major. So those are things that are going to happen in the springtime, and until then, this is going to be tricky. So I have a plan, and the plan is when the windows and doors arrive, then I'll do the opposite thing, and I'll move to the back, and I'll close this off, and this will become a work site again until we get this whole situation straightened out. So that's okay. That's doable. It just started up again. It hasn't rained for about an hour. Where is this water coming from? I know, it stopped. This is so strange. There it goes again. See what we can see. The pole is just there to hold this in place. But now at least there's a receptacle which I think I'm gonna put inside another receptacle because that's not enough for the 3 storms that are expected between the time I leave, hopefully today, and come back. Now, not a drop of water has fallen out of the sky for at least 2 hours. Where's the water coming from? So I've set it up so that I can ask somebody if there's a really torrential storm to come in and switch out the buckets. If you asked me today, I would say that I would not ever do another renovation again. I'm glad I did this one. I love it. I'm not discouraged. It's an amazing place. And we have had so many wins. This is not one of them, but we've had so many. Renovating is so difficult. I mean, I thought I was completely finished with this room. I had booked the painters, the drywallers, everything. I've had to cancel everything because there are so many issues that there was no way we could have known about until this big torrential rain. The thing with renovations is you think you're finished and then boom, something shows up that's been hiding in the wall all this time and you didn't know it was going to cause you a problem. Anyway, it's okay. I keep saying that. It's so boring. I have myself on video saying at least 17 times, everything's going to be okay. I think I'm just trying to convince myself.